as a man, you got to also make yourself happy in life, because I know as men in this world, they lean on us for financial stability and all that. If someone is not bringing something to you other than finances, you don't have to stay in that situation. And that's what I learned. I'm not going to deal with you. I'm not going to stay with you if you can't give me what I'm asking. And I don't require much as a man, truthfully, because anything I ask you to do, I'm going to do it myself. I could do it myself. So I don't really require much of anything, but just keep the basics. Whatever the basics is that I'm asking, just do your best to try to provide that.
So what is your ideal scenario in a relationship? What are some of the things that you look for in a woman?
What I look for, I want first I like to eat. So I want to please be able to cook.
Homemade food.
Yeah, it's homemade.
That's my African brother right there.
Be able to cook. And I'm not asking you to cook 7 days a week. I don't need that.
Yeah.
Be able to dress.
Yeah.
Be able to clean up, keep it just neat. I ain't asking sparkling white floors. I'm not asking for that, but the simple things. Take me out how I could take you out. Things like that. It's like I said, it's not. I don't require much. And match my hustle. Whatever I do, match my hustle or exceed it. Encourage me, build me up as a man. Reassure me, just like the females need that too.
Yeah.
Men need that same thing, and I need that.
Yeah, I know there are going to be some haters now watching or listening to this podcast. I want to just like look for some of the weaknesses, or this guy, he's misogynist. How can he say, oh, she got to cook? He got to cook too. I'm going to say this, like, this is like everybody has their opinion and everyone has their own preference. Like, your preference might not be my preference. And the fact that we don't have the same preferences does not mean, oh, you're wrong, or it does not make you wrong and make me right. Everybody, like, when it comes to love or relationship, you look for what you're looking for. I got what I'm looking for.
Correct.
And at the end of the day, if you find what you want, good for you. If I find what I want, good for me. There's no point of like arguing and saying this person is bad, I'm good. Like, no, that's not the whole point of relationship. Like, at the end of the day, how do you know he's right and how do you know I'm wrong?
Correct.
And that's the question we got to ask.
When you go into a relationship or any type of situation, you should make your expectations clear from the jump. If a person, they say, okay, I can do that, or I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's all on you or them to accept that or deny that.
Yeah.
So it's not really everyone, like you said, everyone has their own opinions on it.
Yeah.
And whatever they're going to deal with in their own personal life.
Yeah.
Ain't no reason to hate on it though.
Yeah, I'm glad you said you just lay out your stuff from the get-go. Because when you lay your stuff from the get-go and the person is getting into that stuff, they know like, oh, this is what I'm getting myself into. You already know from the get-go. Instead of like saying something else and then later on they find out like, oh, I'm signing up for something different. And they're like, this is not what I want. Yeah. So it starts causing some friction and problems left and right. So it's better to be clear like, hey, I'm a traditional man. I want some homemade food. At least I need you to like dress up, be clean the house, do some home choices. I mean, I can do it sometimes, but I just want you to know how to do it too. And I believe in equality, 50-50. Sometimes I can take you on a date, you take me on a date.
Correct.
That's life.
Yeah.
So if you have your opinion, someone don't have to sit down like, oh no, this guy is wrong. That's not how it's supposed to be. He got to take care of his lady. He got to cook. And like, man.
And don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And well, I'm gonna put this out there.
Yeah.
I do not cook. Yeah. I don't cook. But it's not that I'm asking a lady to. You have to do any of this. This is just what I like. Yeah. This is what I would like you to do.
Yeah. Even me too. Yeah. Like. Number one, I'm an African dude. I'm from Cameroon, for those watching for the first time. And one of, like, the top of my list, most Africans, I would say, like, especially in my country, I'm a tribe. Can she cook? If she can't cook, next, in, like, back home, a lady from 10 years old, they're only teaching you how you start cooking. You start learning how to cook like all the traditional meals and stuff like that. So because in African culture, they're preparing you for marriage, like how to not only like cooking, but how do you respect your husband? How do you respect the man and stuff like the merging you up for stuff like that, knowing that despite society saying you're equal, but there's a difference. You got to respect the man. Not that the man is higher than the lady, But when it comes to responsibility, a man got to like show up and take the leadership role. That's how our culture is. I don't know about your culture, but that's our own is. So like top of the list, can she cook? If she can't cook, we just skip to the next one. Like it's not non-negotiable. Like I'm so glad at least my girlfriend can cook, by the way. So I'm good. Yeah, man. So it's good to have your preference, and having a preference means you know what you want, and that's a good thing. But if you don't know what you want, you're just gonna get anything. And at the end of the day, you're just like, is this really what I wanted? I just settled with anything because I didn't have no values. At the end of the day, don't criticize someone's preference. Make your own.
Right.
Yeah, that's life.
That is.
Yeah, man. So now looking back at that experience, right? What are some of the things that you were like, I made those mistakes. Now I'm moving into this relationship. I don't want to do the same thing I did that time. I want to become a better person. So when you look back, what are some of the reflective memories that you're just like, no, I'm messed up on that area. In this area, I want to adjust and become a better person.
I would say I used to be very headstrong. I still am, but I've knocked it down some. It was always my way or the highway. That's how I used to carry it.
Whoa.
Yeah, I used to. A lot of females, they went for that.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them didn't. So I had no problem just disregarding you and moving on.
Wow.
But now in life, I understand I'm not going to provide everything. You can't provide everything to me.
Yeah.
So it's we're going to meet in the middle on whatever we're doing. Right? So as far as what I've learned is that you have to make others happy as well. You can't be self-centered.
Yeah.
And everything. You can be self-centered with some things, but not everything. When it comes to a relationship, a child, you cannot be self-centered at all. With anything.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Sometimes people want to be self-centered and they want to only think about themselves. They don't really think about the kid. They don't really think about the girlfriend and stuff like that. And you just like, at the end of the day, you realize you're moving forward, but no one is moving with you. And that's not real life. So you got to think about the other person. How would this person feel if I do this stuff? Like, you got to bring their own feelings into consideration before making the decision. And that's where communication comes into play. And that's a really major factor when it comes to relationship. How do you communicate effectively? And guys don't really know how to communicate with ladies. They can say all the sweet talk like, hey, baby, you're beautiful, blah, blah. When it's time for action, they know how to convince you. But when it comes to the real talk, they're quiet.
I agree.
They're going to watch football, watch baseball, watch basketball. They don't want to talk. They're just on the TV. Why are guys watching TV? They don't want to talk. And when the lady comes, you're like, what am I going to say now? And when the lady bring a problem, you just find a solution. Damn, because you don't want that problem to lead to another conversation. You're just like, how can we just solve it now? And we have to learn how to communicate effectively.
I agree with you. And I'm going to be the first one to admit I am bad at communicating. I would rather deal with my problems myself or just shut down because I feel like the females I've dealt with or in my past, whatever, I feel like a lot of them cannot relate to what I've been through or go through. And I tend to make things a little easier in my life. A lot of things aren't that serious to me in life. Something can be a extreme emergency for someone else.
Yeah.
But the way I view the situation, hey, it'll be all right. Like you're crying and you're doing all this extra stuff. You don't got to do all that. Do this and the problem is solved. But people tend to overthink things, so I have to learn to kind of show sympathy and all that to another person.
So what I can, just from what you just said now, I can maybe say that you're not really that emotional.
My emotions is probably between 0 and 10%. My emotions are very low.
Yeah.
Because I don't get how people respond to certain things that I personally can just get over with no problem. And that kind of, I know that may be wrong, especially with dealing with a female.
Yeah.
But what I will say, having a daughter, you better learn to be emotional because, especially as they're getting older, the emotions are coming out. The smart ass mouth that they're saying, she's saying, I'm not for that, but I have to understand.
Yeah.
She's her body is growing, her mental, all that. So I try my best sometimes to show emotions.
Yeah.
But most of the time, just a regular person, you probably won't get that from me.
Yeah. First of all, I just want to say welcome to the real world. And another thing is you gotta understand, ladies are wired that way.
They are.
Yeah, they're wired that way. They're gonna be emotional all the time. We guys, we're logical.
Yeah.
We just calculate. Oh, how can I solve this thing? And just get it out of or just get it out of my way and move to the next. But when a lady brings a problem to you, I'm gonna give you a tip. When a lady brings a problem to you, she don't want you to solve that problem. She want you guys to talk. But we as guys, we just want to solve it and move on.
Correct.
Because we don't have the time to. Where are we going to start from? How are we going to make the conversation interesting? Am I saying something right? Am I going to say something wrong? And you all these thoughts are going through your mind. You're just like, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? But at the end of the day, you just got to like let it go. And that's why it boils down to the lady you're dating. You have to know who you're dating and know if you can express yourself to your lady. Because if you cannot express yourself to your lady, I believe there's going to be a friction already.
Correct.
Because if you know that, oh, this is my person and the person is there for me, the person can understand when I'm down, when I'm up. And I can really talk about some of the things that I believe are some of my weaknesses, my flaws, that together we can work towards overcoming. If someone is legit, the lady you're dating, that's a legit somebody that wants to build something with you, they're going to like understand and try to guide you towards that path. But if the person is not even trying to do that investment towards making this guy understand that my own point of view, my perspective, because it takes time. Like not everyone is emotional, but there have to be some time invested towards attaining that and making sure like, hey babe, I want you to see from this perspective. What are some of the things that you don't really understand about me? How can I make you understand better? Do you not understand it from this angle or you want to know it from this angle? Some little questions. And just like that, you start and you go. And sometimes, like I said on one of my previous episodes, I'm like, one of the major questions that every guy or every lady should be asking when it comes to a relationship is this relationship moving towards a direction you envision it to move towards? But people are scared to ask that question because they're scared of the answer.
Yeah, I think that answer you'll get, it won't be what they expect.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're scared of the answer, but that's a good thing. If it's not what you expect, what are your expectations? How can we move towards attaining those stuff? Like we can meet in the middle ground. Like, oh yeah, this is what I expect. This is what you expect. So how can we like work towards building this thing together, and towards making sure that we grow, not just I'm growing, you're not growing. That's bad. Because sometimes when it comes to relationship, people think they're in a competition, they're fighting. Like, I'm going to be on top, you're going to be down. But it's got to be a partnership. It's a partnership. And when you look at it from that perspective, it's different than like, oh, no, I want to be right and she got to be wrong. I want to be right, he got to be wrong today. So I'm the boss and stuff like that. And you know, we guys, we have this boss mentality, man. I'm the man of the house. Yeah. Whatever I say stands. And sometimes it leads us down, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was in a relationship where the female actually, she made more money than me. And we lived together. And she tried to belittle me as a man, but I just couldn't accept that. Yeah. So I had to get up and I had to get up out of there. And I think that was the best move for me because it is strong-headed people, male and female, who think, well, this person is wrong. I'm doing this right. This is how it's going to go. Yeah. Whatever it may be. That's not, as a person, you have to decide, hey, is this good for you by being disrespected or accepting less than you know you are? I just can't accept that personally. Yeah. So, and in my situation, I got up and I got out of there.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, sometimes when ladies are making more than guys, the guys are like how do I become a man? They don't know what it is to become a man anymore. Back in the days, the being a man was automatic. Like the manhood or womanhood was defined by the roles they play. So back in those days, before the Second World War, a man was the breadwinner of the family. He was the one who goes to the factory, to the mines, and work his tail off just to provide for his family. The woman was a nourisher. She was at home taking care of the family. So when he go works all the money, like put his life in danger for the family and makes some money, he comes, he give it to the woman. The woman takes care of them, cook food, make the house a home. When he buys the house, the lady makes it a home. But now it's different. We've gone past after this during the Second World War. The guys on the battlefield fighting, fighting one another, and the ladies that were home had to go to the factories to start producing bullets or war machineries for those guys fighting the battlefield. So they in the battle. They're on the factories producing those weapons or those war machineries, and those guys are using those war machineries to fight the war. And then when the war is over, those dudes come back home. There's nobody home. Right. The ladies are now working. I'm making more money than them. They're like, I left home, but I can't find home no more. Right. They're working now. How do I become a man? So since then, that's when it started. So we've been trying to define manhood several ways. Like, what is like today? If you ask yourself, like, what is a man? You could be like, you will try as much as possible. You cannot really define manhood, because you don't know. You want to say, oh, it's the man is the provider. Today, ladies they make more money than guys. You want to say another thing, the ladies go. So you're just like, how do I become a man? If you want to date, you don't have. Let's just assume you're making 30 grand a year, and you dating a lady that makes $1 million a year. She got everything. What do you want to do?
There's nothing you can really do for a lady in that. She gotta be madly in love with you first off.
Yeah, you'd be like, how do I be a man in that scenario? Yeah. You're just confused. You're just like, man, I can't be a man. I don't know what it is to be a man. And the lady will be like, I don't need your money. I got tons of money. I got cars. I got houses. I just want you to be a man. How do I be that? Because you don't know.
And then the next question comes out, how long is she gonna accept me making $30,000 a year? Yeah. Right. I'm sitting here, I'm going to Foot Locker, making this money while she's running a Fortune 500 company or something like that. But if she really about you, then she'll put you in position though to get on her level or close to her level. Yeah. If she really loves you and she really is there just for you. Yeah. And she'll put you on, hopefully, or show you whatever she needs to show you to put you in a better position though.